My name is Amy Hafer. This is going to be my extra credit participation boost. Per syllabus says, take a topic that we have covered in class, re-examine it, do some additional research and information gathering so that you feel you know the topic like the back of your hand. Create a short video and explain the concept. So, without further ado, here we go. The topic I've chosen is point of view. We've got first, second, third. Obviously, it's more than just that, but that is the basics. I am a 21-year-old girl in college. I see myself as a responsible adult with 4 jobs and a house. Meanwhile, my parents see me as a kid, still at school, learning, messing around a lot. My grandparents think that I'm doing big things. I'm going to college, which is a privilege. Whereas in my hometown, I'm just another kid. All of these different views of myself are just point of views. If I was a character in fiction writing, those would be very influential. The point of view that is used affects the way that the audience responds emotionally to the characters in action. First person. This is where the character gets all of the power narrating. Let's take St. Lucy's Home for Girls Raised by Wolves, for example. It consists of a collection of first-person narratives and teenagers explaining their world. Let's look at an excerpt. When she tries to steal the bread out of my hands, I whirled around and snarled at her, pushing my ears back from my head. I bit her shoulder, once, twice, the only language she would respond to. I used my new motor skills. I threw dirt. I threw stones. Now, from reading it, it sounds like the narrator won the fight, biting her 2 times, throwing dirt and stones. But of course, in first person, why would they admit if they got their butt kicked or if something else happened? Characters can often unconsciously shade the truth or overemphasize on facts just to make themselves look better. So there is a little bit of bias with first person. Second person is still interesting. While it is told by the voice of the narrator, they have the power of sharing what you did or said. And the reason I find this interesting is because it's as if the character has the power of choosing what to do, but the narrator gets to choose how to describe it. So, does the character really have their own freedom? Gotham Writers Workshop uses Bright Lights, Big City by Jay McInerney as an example for second person. When it was published in 1987, it was one of the first of its kind and people really weren't quite sure about it. Let's look at an excerpt from that. You are at a nightclub talking to a girl with a shaved head. This club is either a Heartbreak or a Lizard Lounge. All might come clear if you could just slip into the bathroom and do a little more Bolivian marching powder. This type of writing can make it seem like the reader is in the story or even the protagonist themselves. It is the lesser popular point of view for others to use. Self-help books often commonly write in this style. Overall, I think that it just takes a really talented and creative writer to make second person work in their favor. On to third person. So ever since we're first told stories, third person has always held to be the most common. The narrator is not the character, unable to truly say how they feel, but they may know information they don't know. There are also multiple versions of third persons that each have their own excitement. Let's take a look. First, we have single vision. Single vision is when the narrator only sees one character's story. A lot of poetry that we read this semester expressed single vision. One that I particularly enjoyed was The Lives of Ghosts by Amelia Gray. Let's look at that one. Marcy frowned, her bleary eyes struggling to adjust to the morning light. Over the sound of the faucet, she hears her mother's voice. Don't touch it! She froze. Mom? You can clearly see how the narrator is reading from the point of view of Marcy here. At times she's confused or doesn't know what to do, and this is where third person can step in and help tell her story. As you could probably guess, multiple vision allows the narrator to seep into the minds of more than one character. This allows the writer to tell events from more than one angle. Our short poems that we read often didn't have enough time to show from multiple angles, but St. Lucy's Home for Girls Raised by Wolves is told from the perspective of adolescents. And while it uses aspects of first person, with we and I think that it also shows how multiple voices can be seen. Omniscient is one of my favorite point of views to write from. The writer knows absolutely all there is to know from every character, past, present, and future, so you can add in as many details as you want. You can enter the mind of any or all of the characters to explain conflict however you want. Lastly, objective is a little bit more difficult because the narrator doesn't have access to any of the characters' minds. The story is completely up to the writer to reveal the story. Advantages of this are that the writer doesn't have to worry about rambling or spilling too much information because they don't really know why things are happening. In conclusion, as you've seen, there's many different point of views to write a story from. The point of view that is used affects the way that the audience responds emotionally to the characters in action. And the best part is that as a writer, you get to choose how it goes. I've had a lot of fun with this class this year, so thank you.